Long ago, on the quiet hills of Judea, a young shepherd named Simon was learning to take care of sheep with his older brothers. Simon was the smallest and often the most nervous. As they sat around the fire one chilly night, Simon gathered sticks to keep the fire going, but he couldn't help looking around nervously. "Do you think the leopard from yesterday will come back?" he asked, gripping his staff tightly. His brothers laughed. "Maybe, but don't worry. If it does, we'll chase it away." Simon didn't feel so brave. He stared into the darkness, imagining all sorts of scary things. His brothers tried to cheer him up, talking about how God and his angels were always watching over them. "But I've never seen angels," Simon muttered. "And it feels like God doesn't care about us anymore." "Of course he cares," one of his brothers said. "We just have to trust him." Simon sighed and lay down by the fire, trying to ignore the eerie sounds of the night. Suddenly, a bright light filled the sky. Simon jumped up, covering his eyes. The whole field lit up and beautiful singing filled the air. He could barely believe what he saw. Angels! Real angels, glowing like stars. "Don't be afraid," said one angel. "I bring you great news. Today in Bethlehem, a Savior has been born. He is Christ the Lord. You'll find him wrapped in cloth and lying in a manger." The angels sang a joyful song that made Simon's heart feel warm and safe. Then, just as quickly as they came, they were gone. The field grew quiet again, but Simon's heart was racing. "We have to go to Bethlehem," he said, his eyes wide with excitement. "But what about the sheep?" one brother asked. "And how can simple shepherds like us go see someone so important?" Simon stood tall. "The angels told us. They must want us to see him. We can leave the sheep by the well. They'll be fine." His brothers looked at each other and nodded. Simon, once so scared, now seemed braver than ever. Together, they followed the bright star shining above Bethlehem. When they arrived, the star led them to a small stable. Inside, they found Mary, Joseph, and a tiny baby lying in a manger, just like the angel had said. Simon's heart filled with joy as he knelt beside the manger. "This is him," he whispered, "the Savior." The shepherds stayed for a while, amazed by the baby. Then they went back to the hills, telling everyone they met about what they had seen and heard. Simon couldn't stop smiling. He wasn't afraid anymore. He knew that with Jesus in the world, everything was going to be okay. And from that day on, Simon was no longer the nervous little shepherd. He had met the Savior, and his heart was full of courage and hope.